I had the pleasure of being Toastmaster for the last meeting of ABLAZE Advanced Online Toastmasters Club, and we finished off this year with a speechathon. Our theme, Tales Around the Campfire, and Arif had the unenviable job of keeping us to time. Our first speaker was Arlen. She's on the Innovative Planning Path, Level 3, Present a Proposal. In her speech, we heard an intimate conversation as the wife, Arlen, proposed a new purchase to her hubby, an ozone machine. Her speech title, A Proposal for the Laundry Room, which was evaluated by Andre. Our second speaker was Onrik. He's on the Dynamic Leadership Path, Level 1, Evaluation and Feedback, his second run of this speech having previously been given feedback. The suspense was literally a ticking time bomb, and not only is he still here to tell the tale, spoiler alert, he took the feedback on board and did an even better job. His speech title, How to Handle Crises, which was evaluated by Arlen. Our third speaker was Magda, and with a few paths under her belt, she was revisiting the Competent Communication Manual, Project 5, Your Body Speaks. Magda's stories are inspired by her life in South Africa and observing many animals in their natural habitat. This supplemented by her research, driven by her thirst to always want to know more. A verbal continuation of her Facebook posts, and designed to leave us drawing our own conclusions. Her speech title, Animal Stories, evaluated by Jody. Our fourth speaker was Jenny. She's on the Engaging Humour Path, Level 1, Evaluation and Feedback, her first project. In 1953, Jenny took an epic journey by truck with her family from a little town in the south of Victoria called Queenscliff up to Brisbane in Queensland. She shared with us this journey through the eyes of her 6-year-old self, a journey where campfires were a nightly occurrence. Her speech title, Queenscliff to Queensland, evaluated by Raymond. Lucky last, our fifth speaker was myself, with a couple of recitals of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, evaluated by one of our guests, Nadia. And as suggested, if you listen on, I've included them here. We have a wonderful international audience, and I thank everyone that has helped support ABLAZE throughout the year, and who hopefully will support it ongoing. 'Twas the Night Before Christmas by Clement Clark Moore. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mamma in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave the lustre of midday to objects below, when, what to my wondering eyes should appear, but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, O Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the corsairs they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my hand and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples how merry, his cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." An Aussie Night Before Christmas by Yvonne Morrison. 'Twas the night before Christmas, there wasn't a sound, not a possum was stirring, no one was around. We'd left on the table some tucker and beer, hoping that Santa Claus soon would be here. We children were snuggled up safe in our beds, while dreams of Pavlova danced round in our heads. And Mum in her nightie, and Dad in his shorts, had just settled down to watch TV sports, when outside the house a mad ruckus arose. Loud squeaking and banging woke us from our doze. We ran to the screen door, peeked cautiously out, snuck onto the deck, then let out a shout. Guess what had woken us up from our snooze? But a rusty old ute pulled by 8 mighty roos. The cheerful man driving was giggling with glee, and we both knew at once who this plump bloke must be. Now I'm telling the truth, it's all dinky-dee. Those 8 kangaroos fairly soared through the sky. Santa leaned out the window to pull at the reins, and encouraged the roos by calling their names. Now Kylie, now Kirsty, now Shazza and Shane, on Kipper, on Skipper, on Bazza and Wayne. Park up on that water tank, grab a quick drink. I'll scoot down the gum tree, be back in a wink. So up to the tank those 8 kangaroos flew, with the ute full of toys and Santa Claus too. He slid down the gum tree and jumped to the ground. Then, in through the window, he sprang with a bound. He had bright sunburned cheeks and a milky white beard. A jolly old joker was how he appeared. He wore red stubby shorts and old thongs on his feet, and a hat of deep crimson as shade from the heat. His eyes bright as opals, oh how they twinkled, and like a goanna his skin was quite wrinkled. His shirt was stretched over a round bulging belly, which shook when he moved like a plate full of jelly. A fat sack of prezzies he flung from his back, and he looked like a swaggy unfastening his pack. He spoke not a word, but bent down on one knee to position our goodies beneath the Yule tree. Surfboard and footy ball shapes for us too, and for Dad, tongs to use on the new barbecue. The mysterious package he left for our Mum. Then he turned and he winked and he held up his thumb. He strolled out on deck, and his roos came on cue, flung his sack in the back and prepared to shoot through. We bellowed out loud as they swooped past the gates. Merry Christmas to all, and good on you, mates. I leave you with one final thought. Amongst the goodwill and good intention always thought of at this time, how about you do a little something for yourself? Shape your future with your voice. Our next meeting is on the 11th of January 2020. Why not be our guest at ABLAZE Toastmasters in the new year? What do you have to lose but fear itself? Conditions apply. You have to walk in the light of the Toastmaster promise and values, to have warm relationships with your fellow Toastmasters, to oxygenate the meetings, to embrace change, be full of energy and positive emotion, and promise to keep our meetings, speechathons, and training sessions interesting. This advert sponsored by Big Kev 2019.